Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, All Things Dana B. So today I decided to do all drugstore brand products. Why? Because I was gonna do it anyway, but one of my nieces was like, girl, you're using too many high-end department store brand products. I'm like, wait, what? So anyway, mind you, I got high-end, middle-end, low-end. I got any product you want. If you want some makeup, okay, this is where you need to be over here. But I said, okay, let me get my little drugstore stuff together. So I went to Walmart, my favorite store in the whole wide world. Y'all, favorite store, Walmart. Okay, hold on. I got some of my damn glue from these lashes. But anyway, so I went to Walmart. And guess what? Wet and Wild, y'all. Y'all remember Wet and Wild from back in the day? I know the millennials may not know, but that Wet and Wild, remember Wet and Wild, y'all? Girl, Wet and Wild has made a comeback, okay? So I went and got all Wet and Wild products, Wet and Wild and NYX. Now, NYX is at Walmart, Wet and Wild is at Walmart, and it's reasonably priced, a reasonable price, okay? You can afford some Wet and Wild. And I was like, oh, let me get some mascara, I used some foundation from Wet and Wild. And I said, look at this. Y'all, come on. Come on now. I was really impressed. So this is all NYX, all Wet and Wild, but it's 90% Wet and Wild, y'all. Wet and Wild? Come on. But anyway, check out this video. Go get you some Wet and Wild because you can afford it. And do your little makeup. And it's light. It wasn't heavy. I was light-handed today, okay? I was light-handed. So check out the video. Okay, so right now I'm starting with the brows, of course. And the pencil that I'm using for my brows is actually not a Wet n Wild or NYX because I couldn't find my color in either one of those products. So that's a Maybelline brown pencil. See, drugstore. That's a Maybelline brow pencil. So we're gonna work these brows out. My brows are actually microbladed. I have ombre brows. So they generally just act as a outline for me to do my brows. I normally use Anastasia Pomade, Dip Pro Pomade, but this drugstore, y'all. So now I'm gonna clean up the brows with my Wet n Wild concealer. And I actually like this concealer. It actually holds up really well. It cleaned up my brows really good. So I'm good with this Wet n Wild. Like I'm feeling this Wet n Wild, y'all. Okay, so now I'm just finishing up these brows, y'all. And I really enjoy my microblading to my eyebrows. I was hesitant at first, but you know, I did it because let me tell y'all something. It used to take me about 30 minutes, solid 30 minutes to get these eyebrows together because I didn't have no hair, very little hair. And when I say it was a hot mess, okay, I'm like, this is not gonna work. Baby girl got to get something done to these eyebrows. So boom, when they got the microblading done, and it's a good outline for me to get these brows together every day. And even when I don't want to do these brows, if I'm just not wearing makeup, there we go. My brows are already done. So now I'm just patting in the concealer, getting ready to add the eyeshadow. So now that the concealer's in, I'm going to put the transition color on, and it's a soft pink from this Wet n Wild pink palette. This is going to be a soft pink look, and this is a very nice palette. Like I said, Wet n Wild and NYX, and I'm surprised it's not as pigmented as I would have liked, but it gets the job done. Like, it really works. So I'm going to start a cut crease, and I'm going to do a half moon type cut crease. I'm not going to do the whole entire lid. I'm just going to do, like I said, just half of the lid. Just is going to separate the lighter portion and a darker portion of the shadow. But yeah, I remember one time I hadn't did a cut crease in so long, y'all. I was just, really going for like that unstructured shadow. Like, I'm gonna be natural. I'm just gonna do a whole lot of blending. Baby, when I say I tried to do that cut crease, I had 5 thumbs. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? It took me like forever to get that together. So I was like, let me start doing a little bit more of these cut creases, because it's a lot of work and it's precise. And you just be like, wait, I got it. I don't. It was terrible, but I'm good. So we're going to get this little half cut crease going on. So now I'm going to go in with this light shimmery pink that's in this palette. And I'm just going to put that on the half concealed part that I put on my lid. It's like a pretty little shimmery pink, very light. And we're just going to pack that on. When you're doing your lids and your shadow, don't try not to smear it as much, and just lay it on your lid. Just like pack it, because you don't want to move whatever you put. You can set with a setting, a eyeshadow setting base, or you can use concealer, but don't, move it around a lot. Just kind of just like pack it on your lid, set it, place it there so it won't smear. So now I'm going to go in with this dark purple out of the palette, and we're going to take that and blend that on the corners of the lid. This one you can move a little bit more, because like I said, it's a half cut crease, so I didn't place any concealer towards the outer portion of my eye so I can blend it a little bit more, and that way I can move this particular shadow around. So we're just blending the outer portion. Okay, so I did the outer portions of my lids. I added some highlight under my brow, and I brushed out a little bit more of the transition color. And you can see how beautiful the eyeshadow turned out. It actually turned out really, really well. Like, I really like it. So we're good with this Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette, y'all. This is good. It's working. Now I'm going to take that Wet n Wild liner, and we're going to do a wing liner. Now, sometimes these wing liners can be a challenge. Good Lord. I swear, this stuff be so much work. But, we got this. We got this. So I got that wing liner together. Now I'm going to take a little bit of that concealer and I'm going to clean up that liner. Make it look a lot more sharper than what it is. Get rid of that excess product under those eyes. So I cleaned up the wing liner and I added my lashes. So now I'm going to take this black NYX eyeliner and just put a little bit on my waterline. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I actually have been very light-handed on the product. And because these are new products, I'm not sure, how they're going to look. Now, this was actually the darkest shade foundation that I found in Wet n Wild. I can play with it a little bit. It's not a true match. It's not a perfect match at all. But as you see when I blend it out, it's going to blend in really well. And fortunately, there's like light and dark spots on my face. So it kind of like, blend in perfectly. But yeah, so I had to just work with it because, when you chocolate, the shade selection is limited, unfortunately. We've come a long way, but we still fighting a good fight to find, just that perfect shades. There's a lot of mix and matching going on. But this actually works. It blended in well, like I said, because of the light and dark spots that I have in certain areas of my face. So it wasn't that bad. And I only used a very small amount. So it was not like I covered my face in it and it looked like a mask because it's the wrong color or maybe the wrong color or I'm not sure about the color. But yeah, this was the darkest shade that had the off of my chocolate self, so I gotta work with it. Now, this concealer I felt was a good match. It wasn't too bright because I have used some bright concealers, and it wasn't too dark. So it kind of worked. And I think the foundation shade actually turned out well as well. So I'm happy with the product. I'm actually happy with the way it's turning out. So we're just going to put the concealer on at all the spots that we want to highlight on our face, that we need to highlight on our face to make our face pop, and where the light's going to hit, and that's where we're highlighting at. But like I said, I think it turned out pretty well. I'm good with it. That's a Real Techniques beauty blender, and I'm just going to blend that on out. And um when you're doing your concealer, like I said, don't try to move it. Just pat it as much as you can. Try not to take your hand and push down and smear it. Just pat it down in the one area that you want it to be. And I think this is really working. I'm liking the turnout of this. I like this concealer a lot. Now I'm gonna set the concealer. Now I'm not even gonna lie. When I first saw this setting powder, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna look like a ashy ashtray." It's light, but it's actually not that bad, especially when I brush it off with the bronzer because I got a really good bronzer from them. So I felt like it really just was gonna brighten up the areas like I wanted to. Like I said, I'm always afraid when it comes to these setting powders because it's flashback, and then it can just not, it can be the wrong color when you're dealing with my skin tone. Like it just not, there's it has to be right when you're dealing with these setting powders with this brown skin, dark skin, because it doesn't, it's nothing you can do. If it's the wrong shade, you're gonna look like you belong in a grave. Point blank, period. It's like nothing you can do. I mean, there's things you can do. You can go over it with a darker bronzer or a darker powder or something. But what if you don't do that? Then you looking like, oh my God, a ghost. But like I said, I found a really good bronzer with them, and it was darker. So I thought, I can really, blend that in and blend it out, and it'll go in together. So I think, like I said, it's turning out really, really well. Like I was really surprised. So now I'm doing the contour. I actually did set my face already, and I set that with a Wet n Wild bronzer. It's so pretty. So I set my foundation with that, and now I'm going in with a powder contour only. I didn't use a cream first because I couldn't find a cream from NYX or Wet n Wild that would go with my shade for the contour. So I decided to use my NYX powder contour palette. And now I'm spraying my face with the NYX matte spray. I love that NYX matte spray. I got the NYX matte spray, the dewy spray. I love it. Now I'm going to go in with the highlighter from Wet n Wild. And I thought this was a really nice highlighter palette. Um, it has some light colors, but it also, has some, the golds in there to go with my skin tone, and it's really nice. It's really pretty.
So we're just going to do the cheekbones, the Cupid's bow, the bridge of my nose, my chin. Look at that. It's popping. It is really, really pretty. Like, I'm really loving this. I'm going to do the inner corners of my eyes to bring my eyes out a little bit more. So I'm using a Almay dark brown pencil, again, drugstore product. I had to use Almay because I couldn't find any Wet n Wild or NYX. So, but that's an Almay, again, drugstore, and this is a Wet n Wild pink gloss. I actually wasn't sure about this as well. I thought it was a little bit too pink, but you know, I'm gonna work with it, and I think it turned out really, really well. After I just played with it for a little bit and darkened up the corners a little bit, blended it in a little bit more, I think it turned out pretty good.
So I hope y'all enjoyed that video on my Wet n Wild and NYX products. I didn't use that much. I was light on the concealer, light on the foundation. Like, it really did a good job. Like, I'm good. I'm good with Wet n Wild. I'm impressed. I will always use NYX, but I went back to Wet n Wild. You know, little something here and there I'm gonna use. So really light, really easy. I made a wing liner. I did everything, y'all. All right, so make sure y'all like and subscribe. Okay, I'm gonna leave all the Wet n Wild and NYX products in the description box. But in the meantime, subscribe. Okay, y'all. Peace out. Until next time. Mwah.